7:26. Now, cast your mind back. Radio. I was a bit of a Radio Luxembourg kid. Radio Caroline was a little bit just before my time, but not much sums up the soundtrack to the swinging 60s than this. Get a load of these jingles here, listen to this. Wow.
Caroline, the sound of the nation. Caroline, the sound of the land. Caroline, the sound of the nation.
Caroline!
Caroline's Sure Shot.
Going back in time on the sounds of the nation, it's the Caroline flashback.
It's a Caroline flashback.
See, this is Radio Caroline.
Caroline, the sound of the nation. Caroline, the sound of the land.
Wow.
Caroline, the sound of the nation.
Put the ship's bell on at the end. Ship's bell? You got it. Well, the sounds of those radio jingles will sure to bring back memories for a lot of people. Maybe you tuned into Radio Caroline on a little tinny transistor radio. Well, Britain's most famous pirate radio station will take to the airwaves once more from Liverpool for its 50th anniversary at the end of this month. Radio Caroline North will once again be afloat. It's at the Canning Dock. You know the former Merseybar light vessel, the planet down on the front there, and the preparations for broadcast are really starting to take shape. Now, let's go to Simon Moffat, who's down on the waterfront. I'm all excited about this. I love radio. It's my passion. It's my livelihood. Morning, Simon.
Yeah, morning, Tony. Those jingles certainly brought back a few memories for me. You're joining us actually on the bridge, which is going to be the studio for Radio Caroline at the end of this month. A bit of work to be done so far. We've got the DJ's swivel chair in here, but not much else. Although downstairs we do have 3 authentic 1960s mixers to play with when the station comes on air at the end of the month. As you say, it's the 50th anniversary of Radio Caroline, and it's coming back for a month. And the man behind all this is project manager John Dwyer. Morning to you, John. This is going to be a real trip down memory lane for you, isn't it? Because you worked on Radio Caroline in the 1980s.
That's right. I'm a third generation Radio Caroline jock. I was in the position of being in the North Sea in the mid-80s on the Ross Revenge, which was the third ship of Radio Caroline.
And why did you decide to bring it back for the 50th anniversary?
A combination of things. This goes back about 18 months when I was at Radio Day in Amsterdam, and the subject of the 50th was coming up, and people said, we've never had anything in the north of England to celebrate Radio Caroline North, which operated from the MV Caroline, the Finnish ship, off the coast of the Isle of Man in Ramsey Bay. And they said it'd be nice if we could have something to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the start of British offshore radio. And I thought, yeah, there's a possibility there. We may be able to do something in Liverpool if we had a ship and it was in the right position and we had the right team to put it together. So it was a very slow process from 18 months ago.
I imagine you've had to go through quite a few hoops to get this up and running.
Yes, that's right. Obviously, you have to find the ship, which is the Planet Light ship here on the Canning Dock. Also get the necessary licensing, of which there were 5, 2 from the Radio Authority being Ofcom, music licenses, and also an extra license. So quite a bit of paperwork to go through, which is an unusual thing for anything associated with Radio Caroline.
Now, what can you offer us at the end of the month? You're taking us back to the days of Radio Caroline North and the 1960s, are you?
That's right, yeah. We wanted to capture the spirit, the sort of freewheeling on-air sound of the way that the jocks were then, who were mostly in their early 20s. So it was a brand new thing on the radio, capturing millions of listeners in a very short space of time. What we're hoping to do is just recreate that sound in the 28 days that we're on the air, and also, of course, play 70s and 80s music to broaden the audience profile. There will be a fairly good concentration of 60s tracks, and also 70s and 80s to pad it out, so to speak.
So we're going back to the 60s, but you're also going to play some 70s and 80s. And it's not just going to be music either, is it? You're also going to be doing news and some information features as well. Yeah,
that's right. We're unlike a normal RSL, which is in fact what we are. We're going to have the news on the hour, and there will be sort of weather on the half hour, which is what we used to do on the ships anyway, and a little bit of sponsorship along the way, a little bit of banter, and we're going to heavily feature the Easter coming up fairly soon, in which we will have original Caroline 60s DJs who will not be on the ship so much, but will be doing drop-ins here and there, and that will be sort of the highlight of the broadcast Easter, which is when the station originally came on the air in '64.
And while you're broadcasting this time around from 31st of March to 27th of March, to basically the end of April, effectively, you're open to the general public. They can come on board and see you operating.
That's right, yeah. The public can come on board from 10 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. Weather permitting, of course, they can sort of sit on the deck, take photographs. We're in the prime position for photographs. Have a drink in the bar, or tea or coffee. And I think it'll be a general meeting place for radio-minded people as well as the general public, and a huge amount of tourists that are in this area.
So you're not just expecting radio anoraks, if you like, you're also expecting the general public to come on board as well?
I hope so, yeah. This is a one-off opportunity. There's never been anything that's been presented in this area to do with offshore radio, which is what I'd like to call it. I know that the politicians of the 60s called it pirate radio.
Yep.
That's because they had to give it some sort of bad image to bring out a law to ban it. So offshore radio is the term that I like to use.
I mean, obviously, Radio Caroline gave rise to a number of, if you like, radio stars, the likes of Tony Blackburn and so on. What do you think its enduring appeal over the years, even though it's not on the air at the moment?
It's sort of, I don't know, when it first started, kids used to listen to the radio under the bed covers. There was a huge sales experience of trannies, transistor radios. The Japanese probably did rather well out of it. But I think it was just that the fact that it was coming from ships and down the south, marine structures, the old World War II forts, and because it was illegal, because it was in international waters, the ship was just out at sea, nothing like anything that was around before with the BBC, no commercial radio then. A totally different way of life in the 60s, and that has continued right the way through, I think, with the people who were there, and also just like the alternative sound of offshore radio.
Brilliant. Well, many thanks indeed for that, John, and good luck for the end of the month. There you go, Tony. Radio Caroline is coming back until the 28th of April from the end of this month, and it'll be broadcasting on 87.8, as you're saying. Step back in time to the sounds of the nation.
Great stuff. Thank you, John, and thank you, Simon, as well.